Namaste, good morning. Sitaram. Well, it's another morning. I had my full hour and a half of yoga and meditation starting at 3:30. And now I'm out and it's a preparation for the day. And this preparation involves making a shift from paying attention to this mundane life, attention and importance, and shifting it to where I came from, where we came from. And yes, yoga and meditation does a lot for that, but more so to be in service to society, to be in collaboration with the Creator and the Sustainer, as we know, Lord Brahma and Lord Vishnu, and Shiva, to remove all obstacles on our path to go to that place of self-realization. For me, I'm very blessed to be in an organization, Bharat Sevashram, under the guidance, direct guidance of Swami Parameshananda, manifestation of Lord Shiva of consciousness. So the question is that I like to ask this morning, did we ever think where we came from? And how do we get to where we are this moment? It is true, our experiences that we had that brought us to where we are today, and how we think and how we speak and how we act with this coronavirus. It is a blessing in disguise that we have to reflect on this, because we cannot go outside, and that life that we used to have, maybe a little artificial, where we're racing and we're going, and where do we go? We don't know where we're going. So, Swami Parameshananda, this is what consciousness does, the original state of God without name and form. Sometimes, many times, he takes a form and then he comes down so he can relate to all human beings. And he did that in 1896 after petition by a couple in Bangladesh, Bajitpur. He came as that child, Lord Shiva. He announced his coming. And when he came, everybody knew that this is no ordinary child. He came and he started austerity by himself without the guidance of a spiritual master, because he's God. God doesn't really need a guru. And at the age of 6, he will be hours in meditation. And he will develop that inner power. He wants to go back to where he came from. So his journey took him to a real spiritual master, Baba Gambhir Nath. But before that, he was so impressive to the students, his classmates, especially the boys. They will come to him and ask him all kinds of questions that they wouldn't want to ask the parents or anybody else. And he will give them the answer. He was like a divine magnet, and throughout his sojourn on earth, he was that divine magnet. But today I want to talk about what happened after all the austerities, guidance of a guru, just to follow the tradition of Hinduism, because if he had have a guru, there will be a void there, a question that would be asked. So he didn't want to create any But in 1917, after him and his friends cleared a patch of ground in the forest and make a shed, post and a thatch roof, they were singing and chanting the name of the Lord. And Binod, that his childhood name, he was sitting there quietly, and then he went back to where consciousness. In other words, he was in the body, but he existed all over the universe. He was omnipotent, all-powerful, omniscient, all-knowing, omnipresent, all-pervading, existing all over the universe. So when he did that, immediately there were some 10 divine messages came out of his mouth that we call the Sangha Vani, the words of the Sangha. And these 10 divine messages, if we follow them, you'll see that it expands into the vastness of all religions. But more so, it incorporates the theory and the practical. So he asked the question, what's the goal of life? Self-realization, universal emancipation. He had to realize, have that self-realization, and then he had to pass it on to the world, and he created this organization, Bharat, Sevashram, with monks and disciples. But these monks, these Swamijis and Brahmacharis, they lived a life of austere celibacy and a simple life, no luxury, just simple food, sleeping like 5 hours in the night, and serving the society in all aspects, pilgrimage, hospitals, schools, wherever there's human need, where humanity has to be comforted and provided with basic needs, he did that. So this self-realization, universal emancipation, that's the goal of life, and all of us should be going towards that. And then he asked the question, what is religion? Self-sacrifice. In other words, look and see God in all of his creation and serve and worship him in all of his creation. Yes, we go to the murtis, but imagine that there is a human being who has all the 5 senses and organs of action, and we must see God in that person. Yes, we are all different evolution level, meaning that we're moving toward perfection. He was a perfected manifestation of consciousness. And many of the monks, as they were brought under his control, they also moved closer. And we are constantly being guided. Imagine if we can think about God all the time and don't think about worldly affairs, don't put attention and importance to worldly affairs, then that's the shift we need to do. And this is what we need to do in these moments. And this Sangha Vani, this is so powerful. We'll put this on the site, the Facebook, so that you could see it. But let me just say take one or two more of these 10 divine messages. Number 6, it says, what are real sins? Weakness, fear, cowardice, meanness, selfishness. It's at this time, look at the acts that are being done by the frontline medical workers in America and all over the world, sacrificing their life for the welfare of society. They cannot walk away from a person who's suffering because they know they have the conscience and the heart. And so many people in all aspects of life, the people who provide food for us on the table, farmers and truckers and grocery stores, they're out there every day providing all of this. That is what we call self-sacrifice. That is what we call selflessness. And this is what Pranavnam Shamji wants us to do. And then he says, what are real sources of strength? Patience, fortitude, and endurance. How beautiful it is that it comes in so handy in this time. All of us, we may have money, we don't have money, but the planes are not flying, there's no one going to vacation spots. We're all on the same level, rich and poor. The rich may have more comfort in their home, but at least everyone has to be inside. And this is the kind of time that we have to think about these things. It's a blessing in disguise. And then he says, what are real assets? Self-confidence, self-reliance, and self-respect. In other words, when you develop these skills, when you put more attention to where you came from. Imagine we came from the point of creation We were manifestation of consciousness in the beginning. But the Leela, the drama, the play that the Lord created by manifesting the universe and put us in there, it's such a mesmerizing thing that it's very difficult to get out. But with His help, when He manifests Himself like Krishna, Ram, and Christ, and the Buddha, and all the credible religious, spiritual leaders, founders of religions, they're the ones to lead us. For us, Swami Parameshananda ji, he's doing a dynamic work for us. Let us pay obeisance to him. Pay obeisance. They are gurus. They are Diksha gurus. But then they are the Moksha gurus, the ones to liberate. I'm very proud and I'm very blessed in this lifetime, and many of us, to be under such leadership of spiritual master like Swami Parameshananda ji, and an organization to sustain his work, to liberate all that it comes in contact with it. With this, I ask you to look and read Sangha Vani, and also the mantra for liberation, which through his blessings I was able to put together, to put perspective as to what this creation is all about and what we ought to do. With this, I pray that all of us don't fall in the state of weakness, don't let it go into depression, don't get angry, don't get frustrated, but instead go outside and at opportune time to lift our spirits and put attention to where we came from and who we really are, and shift it from this mundane life. Om Shanti, 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 Hari Om. Bolo Sisi Guru Maharaj Ki Jai.